My parents are super liberal, just don't bring up drinking or sex, and no displays of physical affection.
At least this boy is Indian.
Roshan and Karan, congratulations on the film. Was it 2 years ago? We were sitting down in a conference room.
Yeah, a year ago.
A
Yeah.
year ago.
A year ago.
It feels like 5 years, but it was a year
It
ago.
was a year ago.
So the film premiered then, South by Southwest, and now you're premiering in theaters. What's the difference between kind of like how you felt then and how you feel now about the movie and what it represents for y'all?
Yeah, it took a long time to figure out distribution because of widespread racism and homophobia in the industry. But now that we're releasing it, we feel joyous, of course. We're releasing a movie that was financed during very progressive times into very not progressive times. So it has a completely different valence than it had when we made it and when it was financed. I think this movie would be completely unfinanceable now in the current moment. So it's an ironic and odd thing. It feels like we're on the less helicopter out of a much more progressive era in Hollywood. But at the same time, I don't think people have ever needed the movie more because it's not like a strident, traumatic view of being gay, but it's joyful and full of promise and hope, all emotions that our community, the queer community, needs more than ever.
Yeah, I would say also from South by was our first time showing the movie publicly, which, when you've been working on something for a while, you're like, you just at a certain point are like, is it even good Like, it's just so hard to see the value. But South by was so good for us because we had got standing ovations at all three screenings and all this stuff. So it was just this really nice validation. But since then, we played at like a dozen other festivals and we hate traveling, but we've traveled with this movie because it is this weird infectious feeling to watch it with the audience and just to have conversations with people after. And so I think we both feel stronger than ever of how good the movie is. And we're excited for more people to be able to see it than people who have not been able to before this.
I think this movie is the need of the hour. When we made it 2 years ago, it felt like, okay, this is a fun, joyful movie. It's sweet, but like, boy, do we need it. Do we need it? Anybody of any political affiliation, any sexual affiliation, whatever, can walk into our awkward family movie and relax and just sit back and feel good about themselves, which is the best part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so feel good. It's so heartwarming and so funny. I feel like it's just this progressive film that is in the cloak of a fun Indian wedding because you're getting both. And it's so well written and so nuanced while also being broad and funny and for everyone. And shooting this, I think we did 6-day weeks. Like we were like pounding the pavement. We got in right before the strike. That premiere at South by was the warmest, best experience. I kind of needed nothing more, but like only because you also don't expect anything to happen from these festivals. Sometimes you just never see the light of day. And it's a miracle that it is getting legs, and it absolutely should. I'm so proud to be a part of it, and it stands on its own. And I really hope people see it and take it in because there's so much in there. It's just really packed with a lot of great family dynamics and a great love story. It's beautiful. And Karan is what a star.
I know, right?
Also, I mean, so handsome, so obsessed with Karan and Roshan we are. And also this is so personal to them. There are a couple, Roshan directing it, his story of coming out, like timed with this, directing this film. It's just being on set and having the behind the scenes stories come out was just like, this is revolutionary. It's like revolutionary while being like quiet and also just like funny and beautiful.
What have been some of the memorable reactions from some of the festivals you've all been to?
We've seen the gamut, but a lot of people crying, of calling their parents afterwards, of feeling renewed hope about their prospects of finding love, of coming out to us, of disclosing their plans to come out to their family, messages asking for me to read their personal statement for medical school. We've had like all kinds of responses.
Wait, what? Like,
because I'm a doctor, so someone messaged me and was like, I love your movie. Can you look at my personal statement? But the dominant reaction has been one of joy. A lot of people on Letterboxd have said that it rearranged their brain chemistry, a specific phrase that has actually come up multiple times, which is a very hard thing for movies to do, especially now when we're watching what are more or less animated movies. All these big CGI spectacles are animated movies, and people aren't emerging from those movies with a well of human feeling. But this movie leaves you with joy and hope and promise and all these very human things. And if you experience it, if you're lucky enough to experience it with other people who are watching it at the same time as you, it's an experience that persists beyond the watching of the movie. And we can say that with more confidence than we could when we first spoke to you because that reaction has been so consistent and reliable.
What I adore is that it's also a story of a brother and sister. I am of a immigrant family, Filipino. I have an older sister. So, and there's this weird thing about the parents like being a little bit over accepting,
Yes.
yes. And
Exactly. I had to
You
go through it
can't get it
first.
right. I mean, God, we just can't get it right with you kids.
No.
Everything's a problem. Now we're over accepting. Now that's the problem.
I think these queer stories are important as allies and just people in the community, especially within the brown Asian community. I feel like there is a specific kind of story there that we don't see often. Now in 2025, everything's happening. Why do you think a story like this is important? Beyond just even just like kind of the inclusivity of it all.
I mean, I'll tell you that the best part about this movie is that no one is thinking about it as a interracial story or a gay rom-com or anything. It's just a family story to me. I think it's time to like not classify everything so severely because we're living in a world where everything is now it's all happening together. One kid's gay, one kid wants to be an artist, there's problems all over the place, and it's just one awkward family movie. Everybody who's part of a family unit can come in and relate, and I think that for that reason alone, I think this movie is path breaking. You don't feel like, oh, you're watching a gay rom-com. You just don't. You just feel like you're watching a rom-com and a family story, and I think that is the direction we all need to be heading in.
Immigrant right now, where it's like tale as old as time. Immigrants are the scapegoats. Black and brown people are being like stripped of humanity. This is just such a human story. It's really, you get the time. You get to take, if you take the time, which you should, you are learning so much about just the way people live. Just let people live. And it's like,
Yeah.
in a time where we're being so bombarded with bad news and fear mongering, this is just like, it's just open up a little bit and see the humanity of people. Like it's just such a beautiful, well done story that honors cultural traditions while also being just love, live and let live.
When it's just a really tough time for queer people, how do you hope this movie will speak to younger queer audiences? Or even like, how does it speak to your young queer self?
I think the movie makes people feel held in their experience of it and gives them a real tangible feeling of hope for romance, for love, for family, for acceptance, for belonging. It also, incidentally, the movie tested highest among white straight women. So it's definitely not just for queer people, it's for people who are outside of that experience. When we did the test screening, a homophobe mistakenly attended it, not knowing the plot of the movie, because we advertised the test screening by saying there's a movie called A Nice Indian Boy. And she came expecting, I think, a straight Indian wedding movie and found herself in a very different situation. She left a long review in her card, which people fill out after a test screening. And in the review, she vacillated alternately from sentence to sentence between great affection for the movie and her own homophobia. She would say things like, "This is wrong, but I loved the movie. It was so good. Acting was top notch, but it is wrong to be gay." She would go back and forth, back and forth. And I thought, how interesting that we've led to this crisis and this homophobe, because the movie is forcing her to acknowledge the inner life of someone who she fears, whose experience she worries will somehow interfere with hers. And that's the powerful thing about this. I think we have to move away from the idea that queer movies are for queer people and understand that the great beauty of queer movies, of any movie that comes from a marginalized community, is that other people can be led into our experience because they're actually curious. They want to know. I think that the movies that you mentioned, The Parenting, The Wedding Banquet, and Ours, are, like I said, the last helicopters out of diversity Hollywood. I think for the next few years, most of what we will see is white straight people.
Yeah.
Not because that's what audiences want. There's actually no evidence that that's what audiences want in an America that is 45% minority, but that's what the white executives and producers will greenlight for the next few years. So these are experiences, and this is a time to treasure because we have these pieces of art that are little evidence, little shreds of evidence of our humanity, which is the thing we're all trying to cling to.
Did you all learn anything about yourselves that you didn't know, or did you surprise yourselves while you were making this film?
I mean, people think I can act. Like I'm like blown away that I can show up and learn a line and deliver it and follow instructions. Because I came in not knowing this is my first movie. I had no idea. I literally placed my faith in Roshan's hands, not even Karan, because he's an artist. Between you and me, like, relax, Karan. But Roshan is a doctor, so I was like, if he thinks I can do it, we're gonna do this. I said, just tell me what you want me to do, and I will do that because I don't want to engage my head. You know what you're doing. And I'm shocked. It's just following his instructions what got us to wherever he wanted to take us. For me, it was a revelation. Really. I honestly didn't want to do this movie. I declined it a few times before I said yes because it's so good and I want it to be such a big monster hit that I didn't want to take a chance that I'm the weakest link in this film.
Oh, you were really good. Don't sell yourself
Dare I
short.
say, makes the movie. Yeah.
I was interviewing someone once and we were talking about leading with identity in film and how that as soon as you do that, you kind of lose. But at the same time, you want to have representation. So how do you think A Nice Indian Boy kind of tackles that in a way that's like you said, it's just not for queer people?
I think we made a mistake and we have to stop saying representation because what representation implies to the powers that be is we need to make these movies so that we feel seen. It all seems like a social justice initiative to help these randos feel seen in movies. That's how they see it. That's how they perceive it from their perspective. When the truth is we cannot rely on their politeness or their sense of social justice to get these movies made. We have to make what is ultimately a much more powerful argument, which is we make art more interesting. And DEI has turned into this thing where people perceive it as a sort of kindness. Give these minorities a chance, even though this is in subtext, they don't really deserve it. When the truth is, we have so much talent, and why would you leave it on the table? I went to Yale and Harvard Medical School. I'm certainly not diluting the intelligence in Hollywood. And yet the idea is that I'm some kind of DEI initiative that, is being ushered in under polite auspices, when in truth, it's not kindness, it's equity. And that's the thing that people have gotten confused. There's a difference between kindness and social justice and equity. And that's what we lack in Hollywood. And as long as we don't have DEI initiatives, as long as we're not interested in equity, we will deprive the industry of actual talent and ability. And if you go back in time and look at movies in Hollywood, even the most classic American movies are very founded in what is essentially DEI. For example, Star Wars, a great bastion of American cinema, widely perceived as Americana, is based entirely on Japanese culture. It's a clear retread of Kurosawa movies, which George Lucas has addressed. They're all wearing robes. There's someone named Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like the Darth Vader mask is a helmet. Like that at the heart of Star Wars is DEI. It's the thing you're afraid of, which is our differences. And the most beautiful stories, the most beautiful art flows directly out of our differences. It doesn't flow out of a bunch of white people talking to each other.
What would it have been like for y'all to watch a film like A Nice Indian Boy when you were younger?
I think it would have been so inspiring to just be myself. I had spent a lot of time growing up like trying to hide or protect my Indian identity away from everyone. That was its own little thing. But for it to be so kind of exposed and under articulated in this way is like, yeah, what a relief. I think it would have been a relief.
No, we needed it. This movie is long overdue.
Yeah.
The Big Fat Greek Wedding never deserved to be the reigning champions of rom-coms. I'm sorry, but they are not the wedding people. We are the wedding people.
So good. Okay.
And there's only 20 million of them. We should be the ones who should be leading this charge. And the time is here and the moment is now. So get ready, people.
Thank y'all so much. Congratulations on the film. I'm really hoping that our people see it, that people see it. Congratulations. And I'm hoping to see y'all soon.
You ready?
So which one of you is the bride?
Oh, Dad, yeah, that's not how it works.